representing over 2,000 students in business education and leadership. One of Kason's most notable achievements is his work as the co-director of the Center for Youth and AI, an organization that researches how artificial intelligence is reshaping opportunities and risks for young people. Kason is involved in student government and has been competing at the national level in speech and debate throughout high school. He has also been named one of 75 National Student Council Scholars and received the Yale Book Award in recognition of his character and leadership. Ultimately, Kason hopes to advocate for people who usually don't have a seat at the table, whether in technology, business, or public policy. The title of his essay is Words and Wounds, The Legacy of Deborah Sampson, a very thoughtful title, and in the words of one judge, a title of pure joy. Another comment from a judge states, Kason realized that Sampson's legacy is not that she changed the revolution, but that she proved change itself was worth the price she had paid. Madam President General, it is my pleasure to introduce Kason Noll.
Before we begin, I would like to thank Ms. Buckley, Ms. Hannigan, Ms. Hunt, Ms. Johnson, Ms. Bowie, and Ms. Hubbs, and the entire DAR American History Committee for such an incredible honor. I would also like to thank my mother, father, grandfather, and sisters for everything that they have done to get me here. It is truly a privilege to stand on this stage before such distinguished guests. Now, I would like to share a portion of my essay. Quote, no one would notice her. She was a young teenager from Massachusetts, a weaver at best, cutting her hair short and bracing her chest as she stepped into the Continental Army recruitment tent disguised as a young man. She was resourceful, unrelenting, and courageous enough to fight for two freedoms, one for independence from Britain, and one for herself as a female soldier in her own country. She became Robert Sherwood, and for 17 months she became living proof that the fight for independence had no gender attached to it. Her service as a soldier in disguise meant she marched, trained, starved, froze, and bled alongside the Continental Army, challenging patriotism in its finest form of fighting for one's country. From her time as a young revolutionary to her service in the Light Infantry Unit, she significantly contributed to the founding of a new nation that would eventually come back to expand its freedoms far beyond what any of the founding fathers had initially imagined. Her real name is Deborah Sampson. With Sampson's legacy in mind, how did one particular woman in disguise truly influence the revolution and contribute to the founding of a new nation? For Sampson, her legacy is not that she changed everything, but that she proved everything could change, exposing the hypocrisy at play in a nation being developed for and by men. Countless founding fathers proclaimed that all men are created equal on the premise of natural rights, yet systematically excluded women from citizenship, property rights, and public life. Beyond this, revolutionary leaders often insisted women were naturally inferior, seeing them as too emotional for any responsibility in the war. Poor, indentured, and female, Sampson performed these same duties as her male counterparts, firing the same weapons and showing the same courage after fixing her own wounds on the battlefield. Fundamentally, Sampson redefined what it means to be a patriot. She fought for two freedoms, and while only one was granted in her lifetime, her legacy ensured that the fight for the second would continue long after she was gone. End quote. Words alone cannot express how thankful I am to the DAR for honoring Deborah Sampson's story and honoring mine as well. Struck by the founder's devotion that all men are created equal, I was equally captivated by Deborah's endurance and symbolism in fighting for the revolution and for women's rights simultaneously, as did countless others, like Abigail Adams, Esther Reed, and Sybil Ludington. As we mark the 250th celebration of this great nation, Sampson's fight for women's rights is the one we are now called to finish.